I said, guess who's back? Man, guess who's back? I said, guess who's back?
Positive or negative, you can't break it. When a man happy, he happy. And the only thing about that though, I'm so happy that I gotta find my killer instinct back, bro.
Yeah.
You understand me? I gotta find that killer instinct back though, because I'm too at peace. I'm too happy because I have greatness in me. It's just a matter of time that I bounce back and get my groove back. And when I do that, hail the king. You understand me? That's the power that's in. You know what I mean? And that's the power I possess. I just gotta get myself back together. I gotta get back in that groove because I lost the love of boxing, man. At one point in time, they did me wrong, and I lost the love of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I've regained it, and I'm each and every day I'm regaining even more to getting back to myself, to find that killer instinct, because I'm blessed, bro. Like I said, I don't need boxing anymore, but just got to find that dog back, man. I think they when they went against me in this business, man, I think my heart caved in because I couldn't believe certain things. A lot of people, certain people that I helped, people that I wanted to make $1 million, you know what I mean? They all turned against me. I'm so happy. I'm so at peace, bro.
Right.
That, I may not want to see violence or even do anything particularly pertaining to violence.
Right.
Because of my performance, I know it was lackluster because we had a hell of a training camp. I mean, training, man, I felt so amazing. It just, I felt so, I just don't know what happened. It just, that killer didn't come out when it's supposed to.
What's going on, guys? It's Backchat TV, and we're back with another video. So, recently, Deontay Wilder did a extremely interesting interview. And obviously that was what you just listened to, an extract from an interview he did with another creator, 78 Sports, I think his name is. Shout out to 78 Sports for getting that exclusive with Deontay Wilder. That was amazing, because in this interview he revealed his mindset, what he thought of the defeat, a little bit about what he thinks he's going to do next, and surprisingly he didn't really mention retire. I thought that retiring was going to be something that he would heavily be talking about after this crushing loss, but he didn't really talk about retire as much. He alluded to not really knowing exactly what he wanted to do, but the conclusion was that he's going to try and come back stronger for the most part. So that was interesting. He said a lot of things. I enjoyed the interview, really good interview. Like I said, shout out to 78 Sports who got the exclusive interview with him. I was really interested by it. One of the reasons why I was interested in listening to the interview was because I thought that Deontay Wilder was being very honest. He was being very open. Whether you think some parts were extremely deluded or not, I think that he was actually being quite honest. I think he raised some really good points that I agree with. And you can't fault someone for being honest. I'm a Deontay Wilder fan, regardless of some of the content that I may have made. It may seem like, maybe I'm against him or anything like that. It's just an honest assessment of what I think of him and any fighter. I don't have any kind of favorites or anything like that against anyone. But I do like Deontay Wilder. I think he's been extremely exciting with the knockouts. He's got more knockouts than some top fighters have got wins. I think we should put a lot more respect on Wilder's name, to be honest. We all say that he hasn't got much boxing skills. So how did he get so far? We have to give him some respect for daring to be great, So I got all the respect in the world for Deontay Wilder. But let's just talk about a few of the things that he mentioned in this interview. So in the interview, he said that the reason for his loss, he doesn't really know what happened. He said that his timing was off, and this is obviously due to inactivity. He also mentioned that a lot of people had gone against him when he lost the first time against Fury, and this kind of led to him being quite disillusioned with boxing as a whole. He didn't like the politics. He didn't like the fact that close friends and family turned against him when he lost. And this kind of, he said, I'm paraphrasing, but he said something about it kind of broke his heart or something. That strong heart that he's got was broken, and so he became disillusioned. And I think that's when we saw him take, you know, that hiatus off from boxing, and he was away from boxing for quite a while. And I think he was thinking about a lot of things after that defeat, and finally decided to come back. And now that he's come back, but he hasn't come back the same. You know, what he's alluding to is that he's lost that killer instinct, is what he called it. He's lost the killer instinct so far, but he's determined to try and get it back. And he doesn't want that to be it. He wants to try and come back, and he still wants to be a world champion. He also said that he believes Joseph Parker only beat him because of the inactivity. There's no other reason. He said that Joseph Parker is not in his league at all, and he's like years ahead of Joseph Parker. So, you know, obviously there's still that belief that he is a top heavyweight and he's greater than Joseph Parker, and he still thinks he can beat Anthony Joshua. So that's good. It's a good thing that his belief has not been destroyed by this loss. He said that he didn't think that Parker really did anything to him. You know, he was just more active, and so he won a decision. But really, you know, it wasn't like an indication of his abilities, because he still believes he has greatness in him and that he can beat anyone on his day. So the belief is strong, guys. It's not like he was completely done mentally. So there is still, what I'm trying to say is that what I got from the interview was that there is a part of him that still wants to be successful in this boxing game. At the same time, there is a big part of him that has changed, and he's having to come to terms with this change. And I feel like, you know, every top fighter has these moments where they either overcome, you know, they're going to retire, or they give it another go. Anthony Joshua, just a little while ago, we were saying that Deontay Wilder would knock out Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua's performances were lackluster. He's lost all of the momentum, and you know, he's a second-rate boxer after Anthony Joshua's lost to Usyk. This is what we were saying just a little while ago. Now, Joshua, you know, Joshua was quite upset and moody with some of the reporters because of what was saying, and everyone was saying, oh, why is Anthony Joshua's mindset, you know, why has he changed? Why is he acting like that? Because of, you know, months and months of people completely disrespecting him for his loss against arguably, arguably one of the best heavyweights in the world in Alexander Usyk. It's no shame to lose to one of the best, but people put a lot of shame on Anthony Joshua, and he had to do some soul searching. He came back with an attitude, but he came back and he improved. He changed to a changed trainer to Ben Davidson, and he didn't actually say that. He said that he's still working with Derek James, but it's just more easier if he trains with Ben Davidson. But I'm not convinced that we'll see Derek James again. Maybe if he has another fight in the US, he might, you know, train with Derek James. Who knows? But it seems now that he's had this great, amazing win and performance, I don't see him, you know, leaving Ben Davidson now. So I think it's quite fair to say that Ben Davidson is his trainer. And you know, he's been successful, and now that he's been successful with Ben Davidson, all of a sudden everyone is praising Anthony Joshua. Wilder's lost, and now everyone's talking about Wilder being the worst. And it happens with everyone. Happened with Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury is the greatest heavyweight and nobody beats him, and then he has a bad performance, and then, oh, actually maybe all of the guys beat him. You know, this is the way the fans are. These boxers are very emotional. They put their life on the line, and they care. No matter what they say, they care about what the fans think of them, because the fans help to motivate them. And when the fans lose that motivation, you know, it affects them. You know, it affects these fighters. All of them get affected. So I'm not surprised to see Deontay Wilder having kind of a bit of a not a meltdown, but being disillusioned with the sport. Everyone turning against him. So I can understand how he feels about that. Reasons for why he lost. Do I agree? I agree with some of the things he said, but I feel that there's something more important to consider when it comes to Deontay Wilder, and this is going to be his biggest hurdle. Should he retire or not? The inactivity made a difference, yes. Losing the hunger, if you've lost the hunger, that's a big deal. I don't think it's the fact that Wilder's lost his hunger necessarily. What I think, if you look at Anthony Joshua when he lost, Tyson Fury when he lost, Deontay Wilder, they all dealt with it in a different way because they're all different people. They've got a different psyche. What's quite interesting is that Anthony Joshua doesn't have an alter ego. This is very interesting, what I'm going to kind of point out. Anthony Joshua doesn't have an alter ego. He doesn't have an identity issue. Deontay Wilder does. Deontay Wilder has an alter ego. Yeah, when he's outside of the ring, he's this peaceful man. He likes to portray himself as, which I believe he is. But when he's in the ring, he changes into this completely different person, which is completely separate from Deontay Wilder, the person called the Bronze Bomber, and he transforms. If we're just trying to show you the way alter ego works, it's like he transforms into a different person. Now, this version of Deontay Wilder is a person who is relentless, who is just a menace in the ring, wants to take your soul, and is unbeatable. So when Deontay Wilder turns into this person, this identity, he's unbeatable, and this is what has allowed him to be so aggressive. It's not that he's so peaceful now that he's lost that aggression. He's lost that aggression because that alter ego died. I don't know if you're following me. You might think I'm going a bit deep on this, but just listen up for a little while. Whether you agree or not, I'm sure you're going to let me know, but I am quite interested in the psychology of some of these fighters, and Deontay Wilder, I think, is mourning the death of his alter ego. If you look at all the previous interviews before he was beaten by Tyson Fury, he never had any indication that he wasn't confident. He was so confident in his abilities that he can knock out any man, any size, any round. And it was all because he had done it in all his previous fights, and he created this alter ego, this identity that no man could withstand that power. And because of that, it allowed him to take so many chances going for the knockout all the time. Against someone more skilled, it wouldn't have worked, but because he had that confidence to do it, that's the reason why it worked. And that actually was something Anthony Joshua was kind of lacking at the time. But now it's come back to haunt him, because he came up against a man called Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury took that alter ego away. First of all, they had an interview before they had their, was it second fight? The first fight. Before they had the first fight. And Tyson Fury was saying, your alter ego, this bronze bomber character, is not going to be able to beat me either. And Deontay Wilder was kind of talking about how his ancestors are part of this alter ego, and they give him the power, and Tyson Fury hasn't got stand a chance, blah, blah, blah. And in the end, Deontay Wilder lost. It was a draw the first fight. The second fight, he lost convincingly, more convincingly than probably I've ever seen any heavyweight fight. And that affected Deontay Wilder. He couldn't say the better man won. He had to find the excuses, and he found some great excuses. The gloves, the suit, all sorts of things. Mark Breland in his corner, traitors, all sorts of things. Whether they were true or not, I mean, Tyson Fury's gloves did look dodgy, but end of the day, this allowed him to still keep his alter ego intact. So when he went into the second fight, he didn't think that Tyson Fury was able to do it, and into the third fight, and he gave his all in the third fight and ended up getting stopped and knocked out. And this is when his alter ego died. This is what went with that alter ego, was his confidence in a way. He still has a confidence. He has like amazing confidence, Deontay Wilder. But I feel like that killer instinct that he says that is in him basically died when he got beaten by Tyson Fury. He took some time off, tried to rebuild himself, and this new version was a more humble version, because he was humbled in the ring. This is the truth. He was humbled. He realized that he wasn't someone who couldn't be beaten. He realized that he couldn't always land his right hand, which he thought he can land on anybody. And when he did land his right hand, he also learned that there are people who can get up from that right hand. Tyson Fury did it on a number of occasions. And he had to face his own kind of flaws, basically. So fast forward to the time that now Deontay Wilder came back, it took him time to rebuild a new kind of identity. But he still wasn't really able to do it. So he came back with a more humble attitude, but still having that identity in there. And then when he knocked out Hellenius, that gave full force to the identity again, the rebirth of the knockout king. That identity came back, and he believed he can knock out anyone again. And then now that he's lost against Joseph Parker, this is a huge setback for Deontay Wilder. You know, demotivation for that alter ego again. And it's like he's collapsed again. I feel like this is what's happened with Wilder. So can he come back from this? I think it's very difficult. One, because of his age, and two, because who is Wilder? I think he is not sure about his identity. Should he come back as a humble, peaceful man who can transform into this vicious character in the ring like he did before? Or does he really have to face the fact that that character was a fraud, and it's just down to how hard you work and what kind of skill set you have? You know what I mean? And this is the problem. I mean, it sounds a bit deep, but this is what Wilder, anytime I hear Wilder, this is what he's really facing. He doesn't really know how to deal with the death of this alter ego dying through getting beaten. Whereas Anthony Joshua, I've always said he's more of a stable character. People think he is more weak-minded, but I think he's actually quite strong-minded, because when Joshua first lost against Andy Ruiz, he didn't say anything like this. He just basically said, the best man won on the night. You know, he prepared better than me. I've got to go back to the drawing board. I've got to learn more. I've got to work on skills. And people didn't really want to hear that. They were like, yeah, still learning, right? But to be honest, that's what boxing is. It's learning, it's timing, it's going back to the drawing board. It's all these things. And Anthony Joshua has this mindset. This is why he's able to change and get better. This is why he could potentially beat all the heavyweights, because he's willing to learn from his mistakes. He doesn't have this alter ego where he thought he was the best, and when he loses, everything collapses. He doesn't have that. If he loses, he knows it's because he wasn't good enough, and he works on the things that he wasn't good enough, and he comes back and wins. Deontay Wilder's different. Deontay Wilder always thought he only needed a right hand, because that alter ego, the spirits, all the things that he believes in would always just get him through it. And then when that didn't happen, he's got nothing to base himself on. He tried to go back and work on skills, but when he got in the ring, we saw that it didn't transcend to his skill set that he was working with Malik Scott did not transfer to the ring. And people said it looked as if he hadn't learned anything. But what it really is that alter ego is always there. So all the things he's learned don't mean anything. When he's under pressure, he's going to revert to type, because he always thinks he can land that right hand that he can always land, and he always thinks he can land it. And so that's all he's ever going to try to do. He's too old to learn to let go of that alter ego and create a new identity as a boxer, and actually concentrate on your skill set like Anthony Joshua is doing. Now, funny enough, Tyson Fury called out Deontay Wilder for this alter ego, and I think he was right. I think he was 100% right. But Tyson Fury has an alter ego. You often hear him talking about he can never be beat. He'll never be beat from anyone who's born from their mother, because he was meant to be the heavyweight champion, because he's 8'10", 300 pounds, whatever. So his alter ego is based on he's the most skillful fighter. He's the biggest heavyweight. He's the strongest, and that's why he thinks he could beat Usyk. He said he's bigger than him, he's stronger than him, and he has a bit of the alter ego as well, which is why when he loses or comes close to losing, we often see this same kind of total collapse and depression in fighters like this that rely on some kind of identity. These identities can get crushed. It's much better to be like Anthony Joshua. to be honest. Anthony Joshua is mentally stronger than Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder in my estimation. I think the strongest minded people would be Anthony Joshua and Usyk. They don't base themselves on any kind of spiritual, biological gifts or anything like that. Just hard work and effort and training. That's it. That's all that matters. It's the reason why Parker was able to get beaten so many times, train hard, stay dedicated and come back, and now he's been heralded as one of the best. That's all that's needed. Hard work, training. You don't have to believe in any superstition. You don't have to believe in any special powers, transforming. Deontay Wilder said that the reason why he lost is because the bronze bomber didn't come out. That aggressiveness, it didn't come out, as if there's kind of some spiritual thing that wasn't released. That's why he lost. But if it was to be released, then he's unbeatable. This mindset just doesn't work, in my opinion. But let me know what you think. I feel like if Wilder doesn't just completely let go of this alter ego and identity that he has, I think it's going to be hard for him to come back, to be honest. I think he's too old to kind of learn a whole new skill set and learn how to box and learn how to deliver that powerful right hand properly and learn how to set it up, under pressure. Like I said, he can do all the training in the world, but when he gets hit or when he's under pressure, he just reverts to type all the time and he looks like he hasn't been trained anything. So I don't know. I still think Wilder's a top heavyweight though. I think he if he comes back, he's strong-minded. I think he'll come back, he'll try harder. And if he gets a knockout against someone, that will boost his confidence and give more fuel for the alter ego again, unfortunately. And then he'll think he can keep knocking out more people. But he's always going to run into someone more skilled. And I think this is his problem. I think Anthony Joshua is more skilled. I don't think he can land this right hand on everyone at the top anymore. I think he'll come up against a Zilly Zhang and then he'll fall again. He'll come up against a lot of people other than Usyk, Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua who are going to kind of show him the same thing because of this lack of skills. Sorry this video was quite long. I just had to really talk about some of the things I see. I wish Wilder does come back. He's exciting for the heavyweight division. Let me know what you think about some of the things I've said. Do you think Wilder can come back? I'm on to the next one.
I said, guess who's back? Man, guess who's back? I said, guess who's back?